So hello and yes, welcome back to another video, guys. Now yeah, today I'm doing another movie review and oh my god, it's the big one. It's the biggest film of 2018, that's for sure. It's the most hyped, it's the most talked about film this year. It's the big one. So before we get started, first off, I am going to say there's going to be spoilers. If you haven't seen the film, go see it, then come back here. Second off, I'm not going to talk too loud because other people in my house still haven't seen the film. I'm taking them to see it tomorrow. So I've told them to stay downstairs while I film this video, and I'm going to talk a bit quiet because I don't want to spoil. I don't want them to hear anything. They won't. They got the TV on. They're downstairs. They're fine. But yeah, so I haven't also. This is not scripted at all. Even normally I prepare some notes for my movie reviews. I've got nothing here because I don't know how to talk about this film. Really, it's not. When I went to see it with my mate yesterday, the way I described it is it's not a film, it's an event. There's very few films that are like this. You get these big conclusion films. It really reminded me of that Harry Potter's Deathly Hallows Part 2, where it's like, it is just an event, it's just the conclusion. Whereas this is part 1 of a 2-part story, because it obviously ends on a cliffhanger. The story to this is very generic, really, in the sense that it's bad guy going after powerful weapons and good guys consistently trying to stop him. There ain't much here to the story. You don't need a story for this film. You just don't. I always say that a film needs to have a good story, and it does. But I don't look at this as a film. It's an event. I don't feel this film needed a great story. It was what it was. And as long as the action sequences were good, the pacing was good, the special effects were good, that's all I wanted from this film. And they were all really good. I guess I'll start off by talking about the characters. Every character felt really good, really genuine. I didn't feel like, for example, Star-Lord was acting any different, under different directors. He still felt very much like Star-Lord. Rocket Raccoon felt very much like Rocket Raccoon. In fact, I preferred Rocket Raccoon in this film to what he was like in Guardians 2, 100%. I thought Drax was a lot better in this film as well. His humour worked a lot better. Of course, the directors handled Iron Man and Captain America incredibly well, because the Russo brothers, of course, have worked with both them characters before on Civil War and then Captain America on The Winter Soldier as well. But Doctor Strange was great in this as well. They still captured that real grittiness of Doctor Strange, where he was the most level-headed one, and while he still cared about characters, he obviously cared about Spider-Man and Iron Man, and, he didn't want them to get hurt, but at the end of the day, he was still like, if Thanos wins here, he's going to destroy half of everything, everyone like that. He's like, doesn't matter how much I like you, Spider-Man or Iron Man, if I have to pick over you two or the stones, I'm going to pick the stone. I really like that Doctor Strange was still like that. Spider-Man was probably my favourite one on the Iron Man team. He was my favourite character in this whole film, because he was just generally there helping, trying to do the right thing. And again, getting into spoilers, when he died at the end, it really got to me. But I think that's really down to Tom Holland's acting as well. A lot of the characters at the end, when they went, they just faded away, which is exactly how it should be. Because when Thanos clicks his hands like that, there shouldn't be like any tension. It should be like, boom, half everyone gone. So I'm really pleased that a lot of characters they just kind of looked at each other and was like, boom, gone, fading. But Spider-Man's one was really good because he did fade quite quick still, but at the same time he had a nice little send-off and it was beautifully done. Special effects were really good all round. There were a few bits which stood out not being great. A lot of it was in Wakanda again, which is a big problem I had with Black Panther. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Black Panther film. And one of the things which Black Panther did was it didn't have great special effects. And this one, whenever they were in Wakanda, there were bits which still looked amazing, like the creatures that come after them looked awesome. A lot of the fighting scenes looked great. But there were some certain scenes where they were in the trees, running through the trees, which didn't look great. And Mark Ruffalo's head coming out of that Hulkbuster suit at the end looked god-awful, I'm not going to lie. But that was the only bit. Thanos' CG was on point for 95% of the time. There were a couple shots which were a bit icky, but it is literally very, very very few shots that looked icky. The majority of it looks incredible. The best bit was when Mantis had him in this kind of sleep mode, but he was still kind of awake, and they were trying to pull the glove off him, and Star-Lord was kind of having this conversation with him. He looked incredible. Thanos looked fantastic. Thanos himself as well, I'll touch on him quickly while we're speaking about him, was handled so brilliantly. Josh Brolin absolutely nailed it. He looked incredible. You didn't need a backstory for him. Although I assume we'll probably get one in part 2. It was incredible. You kind of related to... I mean, you didn't relate to him, but you understood why he was doing it in a very messed up way. He wasn't just a villain who's like, oh, I'm here, I'm evil. You know, kind of like Ultron, really. Ultron just kind of rocks up and was like, oh, I'm bad, I'm just going to kill everyone, why not? Thanos, you kind of... He made it understandable as to his mad way of thinking, and it was really good. The fight scenes with Thanos were incredible, especially the one at the start when he fought the Hulk. I loved how he was kind of just letting the Hulk get a few punches. He was like, no, alright, I'll take a few. All of a sudden, boosh, he had the Hulk bent over his knee and he was just cracking his back, and it was awesome to watch. So yeah, and the pacing was great throughout the film. The flipping between characters, to be honest, there were a couple bits where it's like I kind of forgot what was going on. Like, all of a sudden we'd spent so much time with Vision and Scarlet Witch that I kind of forgot that, oh, Doctor Strange is captured and Iron Man and Spider-Man are currently trying to save him. So there were bits, like, very few times where I was a bit like, oh, you know, they go back to Doctor Strange and Iron Man and whatnot, and I was like, oh, okay, fair enough, we're here again, I forgot about this. But you need to expect that to happen, because they are juggling so many characters here. Again, I know some people are going to say, well, why did they have to have all these characters? Fan service. It's what the fans want. We want to see them all come together. I want to see them all come together. If that means that the film's a tad choppy in that respect, I don't care. As long as all the characters are... I just really want to have a fun time with this film. I don't want to go there and watch La La Land or, you know, Blade Runner 2049. I want to go there and have fun. See all of these Avengers in one film together. And that's what we got, and it was fantastic. So I don't mind that. It was, and it happens so rarely. And I think any other director would have probably, like, if Josh Whedon was still doing this film, he would not have done near as good of a job as what the Russo brothers did. It would have been so much more choppy and messy. The Russo brothers held this film together perfectly. I really didn't think they were going to do it, I'm not going to lie, but they did it so well. My favourite Marvel films are still Winter Soldier and now this one. They're my top 2 Marvel films. I'm not sure which one I like more at the minute, because Infinity War is still very fresh. But they're just such good directors. I mean, they've got the best 2 Marvel films, in my opinion. They're fantastic. The soundtrack was pretty good to this as well. Marvel normally don't get good soundtracks. They have been improving lately, but this one was great. Thor was fantastic in it as well. Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow was great. And then, of course, Peter Dinklage turned up in it, and he was great, really good. He was basically playing Tyrion, let's face it, but who cares? Tyrion's awesome. He was great in it. And the bit which really got me was the return of Red Skull. That was possibly my favourite bit in the whole film. Red Skull is still my second favourite Marvel villain after Loki, if you still want to class Loki as a Marvel villain. And I know they got a different actor. They got the guy from The Walking Dead, one of the actors from The Walking Dead's playing. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. He was absolutely awesome as it. The voice was a touch off. I mean, it was a touch noticeable that his voice was different, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense because this character got sent there in 1943, I believe, which is when the first Captain America film set, maybe 42. So at this point, let's face it, he's over 100 years old. Makes sense, really. He looked just like Hugo Weaving's Red Skull, though. It was incredible. It was so good. It took me a minute to grasp who he was, even when you saw his face. You saw his face, and I was like, I recognise it. And all of a sudden, I clocked it was Red Skull, and I was like, and you could hear everyone else in the cinema going, oh, it's Red Skull, Red Skull, Red Skull, Red Skull. You could hear everyone saying Red Skull. It was like, oh, this is great. So let's talk about the deaths. I'm going to lower my voice here a bit, because they're not outside, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So basically, everyone who died after I think is actually safe. I think they're all going to get resurrected in the next one, obviously. Spider-Man's got his film pretty much confirmed, because Josh Whedon's been talking about Spider-Man Homecoming 2 being set all around the world. So we know, they're not going to kill Spider-Man. So I think it's very safe to assume that Doctor Strange and the Guardians are all coming back as well. But I think everyone who died before that is probably going to stay dead. So we had Heimdall straight away, which was very predictable, but I love the brutality of it. It was just literally, he'd done one thing, had one line, and then dead. Loki was second, also a bit predictable, but again, I love the brutality of it. And I know that sounds really harsh, because Loki is one of my very, very favourite Marvel characters ever. He's incredible. Tom Hiddleston is a fantastic actor, and it is really sad we're not going to see him again. Although, I think we will see him in the next one in flashbacks, or something to do with a time stone. It makes me very sad we're not going to see him again properly, because I think that is it for him. And he had such a horrible death. For a character I love, I probably would have preferred him to have a bit of a better death. But then at the same time, he was a villain. He killed a lot of people in the first film, so you can't feel sorry for the character too much. But man, his death was just, held up by the neck, strangled to death, and neck broken as well. He got killed good. And that was shocking. That was really, really shocking. That was before the title with Infinity War even come up. So it was like, oh, 2 gone already. Wow. Who else went? This is where I might forget people. So the Collector come back and assumably died as well. Not a big deal. We haven't seen him since Guardians 1 anyway. But, Benicio del Toro is a fantastic actor. So it's a shame he's not going to be popping up anymore. And it's a shame we didn't get to see him interact with Jeff Goldblum's the Grandmaster. But it is what it is. I'd rather have Jeff Goldblum's Grandmaster back anyway, if I'm being completely honest. And then, of course, we had the big one, which was Gamora. And that one really surprises me, because what are they going to do for Guardians 3 now? Because there's surely going to be a third one. My theory is Gamora might get resurrected in the next one by Thanos himself, possibly. Thanos might start to go a bit good at the end and say, I've got to bring Gamora back. Because obviously he did love her, he did care for her, which was what her death essentially was, when he had to give a soul for the Soul Stone, a soul that he cared about. And, he chucked her over and just took the Soul Stone nice and easy. So yeah, I've got a feeling she might get resurrected by Thanos himself. But I don't think, when they go back in time the next one, because they're going to do it, they're going to bring, Spider-Man and the Guardians back. I don't think they're going to go as far back to bring her back. So I think she is dead at the minute, proper dead. She had a really good death, though. It was built up so well. The line that Red Skull had when Thanos started to cry, and she went, "You're crying, really?" And Red Skull went, "They're not tears for him." And it was like, oh, he's going to throw you over. And sure enough, he did. And it was perfect. It was so well directed. Incredible. And then we had Vision at the end. I'm just trying to think if I've missed anyone, because it's still very fresh. A lot of stuff happened. I don't think I am. Vision, I think, is gone. He could come back again because he's a computer. They could reprogram him. Again, I kind of hope they don't. That was a good point for Vision to die. I really liked how he died as well. He got kind of killed by Scarlet Witch. And it was like, oh, man, that was heartbreaking. But then, of course, Thanos being Thanos, he's just going to undo time here a little bit. I'm just going to rip it out of his head. He's going to die twice, both times brutally. But yeah, it was the deaths were really, really hard hitting, especially Gamora, because of how it was written and directed. Loki, just because I love Loki. And out of all the ones at the end, the only one which really got to me, I can't lie. I mean, it was sad to see Doctor Strange go and Star-Lord, because I love them characters, but Spider-Man really got to me. So they're the deaths which really had a big impact. Stan Lee's cameo was good. And the ending was amazing. I really thought Iron Man was going to go at one point as well. It's really interesting Iron Man and Nebula left alone. That's a very interesting combo. So it'll be interesting to see how the next Avengers film starts with them two. And basically I think all the characters which turned into dust at the end are now safe. Even though they're dead. I think they're the ones who are going to get resurrected. They're all fine. It's the ones who are left which I'm worried about. So we'll see. Anyway, but this time next year when we're closer to the film, I'll talk about the next one, do my predictions and whatnot. But yeah, out of 10, I'm going to give Avengers Infinity War a 9. It was a really good film. Really good. It's just what I wanted. It's not perfect. but it's just what I wanted. The Russo brothers done an incredible job. Directing is fantastic. The writing was fantastic. The scripts were great. The humour doesn't always work for Marvel. Sometimes it's really overboard. Guardians 2. Sometimes it's perfect. Thor Ragnarok. This was perfect. Absolutely nailed it. Really, really, really good film. Really solid. So anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Make sure you go see it. It's a great film. Really, really good. I loved it. Absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to see it again tomorrow. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and I will see you guys next time for another video. Bye-bye.